Welcome to a very special episode of Dysfunctional Adults, the comedy podcast in which we discuss weird news, pop culture, and being middle-aged dads. I am your host, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
I just bowed. And these are my co-hosts, John.
Hey. Hi.
And Zach.
Me. It's me.
We are bitter, cynical Gen Xers saddled with crippling debt and depressingly past our primes, but that's what makes this podcast so much fun.
Yay!
That was my pop socket.
We really need to edit that. Or not edit it, make a jingle.
Yeah, we do. That'd be very special.
Yeah, if you can send me that, I'll make a jingle.
This episode's drinking game words are...
I like that. Penis.
I don't drink, but...
We didn't say penis once last episode, did we?
This whole show could be a drinking game. Like every time we say penis, drink.
Yeah.
Every time Jason insults another culture, it's a drink.
Last episode, you'd get really messed up.
Oh, yeah, you'd have been wasted from that one. And that's without a single penis joke.
That was a very unpolitically correct episode, and I'm very sorry. It wasn't on purpose. Well, a couple of things were on purpose, but...
I'm not going to take out what you said. I'm just going to bleep the whole thing, so it's all one long beep.
That would be really funny.
That's what I'm going to do.
So, what have you guys been up to? It's been ages since we've seen each other last.
Absolute
has.
ages.
So who's going first?
I guess I'll go first.
What was that kind of son? Go
I
ahead.
smoked cigarettes since the last time I saw you guys. Let's
Tell
see.
me more.
Spending time with my son, who loves to tell me how much he's not going to miss me when he goes back to his mom's.
Aw.
It's just his thing.
How long is he here for?
A week.
Oh, then he's going to go head back.
And then he's going to go back, and then he'll come back in December for a few days. So yeah, it's nice to see him.
Nice.
Yeah, nice to have him back. Let's see, what have I been doing? I've been playing a lot of Fallout 76, kind of nerdy
Okay.
that way.
Yeah.
Making sure I get all my daily challenges done. I've blown through all of the main story quests. So now it's all side quests. And side quests are always the same over and over. You know, go get this, go get that. And it's basically that. Remember when people would complain about Skyrim being the same way?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but it's still a fun game. And I play it with my brother, which I enjoy immensely.
You know what's funny is we bought a Switch a couple months ago, and I went and grabbed my copy of Zelda Breath of the Wild from my kids, and which it was mine anyways. Take that, kids. And Megan has just like excelled at it. She's like better than I ever was. She's got like all the side quests done, and she's like, you know, she beat it on her first try. I did not.
You know what she has that you don't?
Acumen.
Youth.
Yeah.
she
Young
does.
person reflexes and...
Yep. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there, but
No, you're fine. I read an article about that after 30, 35, you start losing it.
Damn
it doesn't
it!
matter if you play
Yeah,
all
you
the time. You're just not as good as you used to be, and you definitely lose skill.
I can see that.
Sucks.
Yeah.
I shake my fist at the Grim Reaper.
It hurt me. It hurt me deeply. Yeah, but yeah, that's really all I've been doing. Playing a little Dead Island. My dad turned me onto that game. I think that was originally for the Xbox 360.
Can we edit out so you just say your dad turns you on?
Yeah, no, I'll change that. I'll bleep everything around it. My dad, beep. My dad turns me on. Beep.
Does he listen to this? He's like, what the hell, son?
He listens to episodes when he gets a chance. He listened to the Luke one for sure because that's his nephew. So
He's like, I love that kid better than my own kids.
yeah. He tells me that.
Dad, I'm right here.
I really like your
Luke was
podcast
the
when
son
you had Luke on there.
Luke was the son he always wanted.
Right,
Instead
right.
he was stuck with you. And
You hear that?
And my brother.
Luke's living out there off the land like a man.
He's just shitting on me right in front of me. Probably knows how to change his own brakes without coming over to his dad's and asking for help.
Probably knows how to skin and dress a deer and then kill it. That Luke's a badass.
He talks it to death. He doesn't even need bullets.
He just says, die.
Die.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll kill you with testosterone. That's okay. I still call my stepfather when I'm out of my depth. We had the water heater, the pilot light went out and it's broken, so it doesn't relight itself. And so I called my stepfather. I'm like, I know I never talked to you or send you birthday cards or really have anything nice to say about you, but can you come over and fix my water cooler
Nice.
or water heater? And he came. He was really awesome. He came over and he helped me fix the dryer too. And
You know, the funny thing is your stepdad helped me set things up when I moved into my house.
did he really?
He came over and hooked up like the washer and dryer and all that.
Oh,
for us.
nice. So it's not just me.
No, and he's not even my stepdad. I have no relation to him. But your mom asked him if he could come help us.
My mom doesn't ask; she tells him.
Well,
to do
yes.
stuff,
I think my wife and your mom are BFFs.
which is kind of weird.
It is weird. But I guess my wife must have mentioned to your mom that we don't really know how to do that stuff so well. We haven't really done much of that before. And so she's like, oh, well,
yeah,
I'll send Russell out there to do it. And he did. He showed up and he did, and I
he's
appreciated
nice
that.
way. He'll do that. He helped me find a washer, and he's like, yeah, I'll pay for it. You just pay me back. It was like $300. It was really nice. And so he went and got it for me, and then I got it from him. And like, okay, so how much do I owe? He's like, nothing. So
Wow.
he's really good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, the moral is if any listener needs something, Jason's stepdad,
Yeah,
as he
'cause I'm-
showed for me, you don't even have to be related to him, like not even through marriage.
Would he buy me a home?
I think so. I think all you got to do is just ask.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'll talk to your mom.
Talk to my mom. She's his
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah, I'll talk to her.
No, it was good of him to come over and light my fire on the water heater.
I'll just bleep
Wow.
everything before that part and everything after that part.
You
So
guys and this
it says-
dad stuff.
Yeah,
Do I have to say something
it's
inappropriate about my
weird.
dad when it's my turn now?
I think so.
yeah, you probably should.
Well, here's
I mean,
the
this is a very special episode.
It is.
It is, and I want our audience to recognize that of all our episodes, this is the most special.
Probably. Yep.
But no, I sometimes laugh because I'm not handy at all, and so we went a week with cold showers.
Handicapped is a type of handy, right?
Touche. But yeah, like I'm supposed to know how to do this stuff, because
Yeah.
I guess. And I counted it a victory because a couple days ago I changed the battery in Megan's car all by myself.
Nice.
So, take that.
I get it, dude. Me and my buddy Jace, we get together and we're doing home improvement projects or whatever. And
But you can do stuff. You can build things.
we're just winging it, man. we wing building things. That's how it goes. In fact, the doorbells, the old ones, you push the button.
Yeah.
You don't have to just like walk up to it. Pre-ring. I don't know how old our listeners are, but I think they know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we were going to change it to a ring. And I ended up busting the wire all the way inside the wall. We ended up getting he got it to work. I don't know how he did it, but we struggle through everything that we do. Something is always going wrong when we do it. We once built a barbecue 3 times because we started building it right, thought we got a piece wrong, started rebuilding it, rebuilt it backwards, took it apart, built it again the way that we were supposed to do it in the first place. I mean, it's always fraught with problems, but man, we did it. That's the thing that counts.
You're a step ahead of me though, because I got a new router, an internet router modem 3 months ago, and I still have not fixed my connection to my Ring device because I don't know how to get it off the wall.
Oh,
Call your stepdad.
There's a little key, those
right.
little punch keys.
I don't know where the key is.
Oh, get a toothpick or a paperclip.
It shouldn't be that hard just to change the network though. It pisses me off
No.
that I have to take the damn thing off the freaking wall.
I agree.
Scan the stupid thing, and I don't know. It just shouldn't be that hard. So it should have the QR code on the front. Damn it! So anybody can.
People
scan.
are in Africa are like, I'd really like to eat today.
Yeah.
So I just want to remind you.
First world problems.
Yeah. It's
Well, then send Luke over to Africa. Teach him how to hunt tigers. Because tigers aren't.
Tigers live in Asia. They don't live in Africa.
Well, Asia's east, and that's east of here. So anyway, hi John.
Hey, hi.
What have you been up to?
Well, I binge watched the new miniseries of The Stand
Oh, how was it?
before my Paramount Plus account expired.
Your trial.
My trial, yeah. So I had to binge watch that whole thing in a week, and I gotta say I was a bit disappointed. Like
Yeah.
The Stand is one of my favorite books of all time. And the original 1994 miniseries is still one of my favorite movies, if you call it a movie, of all time. And you know, the 94 one, it's cheesy at times, and it's very 1990s. It looks like a 1990s miniseries as far as quality and
with
and
Gary Sinise.
Yeah. But it's so much better in like every other way. Like the new one, visually it looks good, and I think they had some good casting with the new one too. But there were so many issues I had with it. Like, for one thing, the pacing is terrible. Like, even though it's longer, it's a couple hours longer than the original, it feels like it's rushed in a way. There's like there's no characterization. It did not. One thing Stephen King is good at is like characterization and the relationships between the characters, and the original version of The Stand captured that well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This one just like rushed through it. There's no characterization. You don't care when characters die, even some of the main ones, because they're so underdeveloped they don't really matter.
Yeah.
And the biggest pet peeve I have with the new one is that it's not even filmed in order. Like it's not like chronological order. Like it starts out after the whole plague thing where they already have reformed a new society and stuff, and then it just shows like the super flu pandemic and stuff and how they got there in like flashbacks randomly.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
I don't like that at all either. And I don't know if it's because it came out during an actual pandemic. They were purposely trying to downplay the whole end of the world disease thing, but that was the whole point of the original one.
Right.
Yeah.
To downplay the whole catastrophic post-apocalyptic feeling of it, it took away everything that I liked about the original. You know, like, since they're already in the new society, you already know who survives the journey to get there and stuff. The whole sense of, you know, desolation and isolation, trying to survive this post-apocalyptic world where 99% of the population's dead. That was one of the most riveting parts, the first couple episodes of that.
And the loss of the characters, like you just said. I mean, you know who survived, so now you know.
Right.
What the flashback's going to be.
So-and-so's not there. They must have died along the way.
I think part of the problem, too, is you have The Walking Dead, you know, is super popular, and it's the same setting in a way.
Are people still watching that shit?
I don't know.
I am, but only because I put this much
effort into it.
I put 10 years into it. I want to finish it, damn it. And this is the last season of The Walking Dead anyway.
Oh, is it?
It is, yeah. So I got to see how it ends after 10 years of watching it. The Walking Dead actually holds a distinction for me is in that it was the last show I would watch in real time. Like when the new episode would come on, I would sit there in front of the TV at the time it came on and watch it. And I haven't even done that for probably 4 years or so. But every other show now, you record it, DVR it, whatever, and just watch it.
Or it comes out once a week on a streaming service.
Yeah,
I've noticed
you watch
that
it when
they've gone back to doing that.
Yeah, and you watch it when it's convenient for you. You don't watch it when it comes on. Or they release entire seasons at a time and you just binge it.
Yeah.
You know. But The Walking Dead, I remember, was the last one I actually watched in real time. But anyway, back to The Stand. Yeah, I was really disappointed with the whole non-chronological order thing. Just completely screwed it. Like, Stephen King books and movies, sometimes they have weird endings, but he's always great at the beginning hook. The beginning of his books are awesome. And The Stand, the old version, was the same way. The opening scene with, you know, showing all the death and all its gory glory with their playing the Don't Fear the Reaper music in the background was just perfect.
I got to ask you,
such a good job with that show.
This one just starts out at some random scene talking with the characters in the new civilization and stuff. And
that sounds exciting.
It doesn't hook you. If I hadn't already seen the original and read the book, I probably would have got bored with this one within minutes. And
I got to ask you one question. Does it portray the very important scene of the dude masturbating on home plate?
Yes.
It does?
It does. There is one. There are a couple throwbacks to the book that were not in the original because it was on a network TV miniseries, and this one because it's
on cable streaming.
They have F-bombs, they have more sex, and the Las Vegas Sin City is full of debauchery and stuff. But and yes, one thing that did make me smile about the new one, they did include the scene from the book where Larry Underwood is walking in the the streets of New York, and this is a flashback,
It's
of
like
course.
Yankee Stadium.
And there's some old guy wearing like a hospital gown and nothing else, because it shows him from behind. He's like naked from the back. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do now that everyone's gone? I'm going to fulfill my lifelong dream. Go to the Yankee Stadium, run around the bases naked, and masturbate on home plate. That was a line from the book. And Larry's like, yeah, you do you, man. Have fun with that. But yeah, I did appreciate that they threw that in there. I thought that was funny.
That is
But
bizarre.
in like 98% of the other ways, this was worse in almost every way. And they had a good cast too. And
Yeah.
I thought the casting was fine, but the writing, they were so underdeveloped, you didn't even care when someone died. Even like some of the main characters. And being 2020, 2021, they had to make it a lot more diverse. Like they changed the races of lots of the characters, and so it was less of a white cast, and that's fine. They changed the gender of a few characters. They added a few more women, like changing male characters to female characters, and that
Why?
because it was too male dominated, the original one.
Okay.
And I'm mostly fine. I'm fine with that too. But they didn't develop the characters. Some of them were like basically background characters until the very last scene. And it's like, hey, we're going on the quest with the three main characters, and you in the background, go with them. Anyway,
That's too
It sounds
bad.
atrocious, honestly. And I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I was looking forward to watching that one.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah.
But also, the climax happens in the second to last episode.
Oh.
So the entire last episode is pointless, pretty much.
When the climax happens too soon, it's never good.
Yeah. Especially when there's a whole hour after that of just like filler material. They could have cut the last. I did catch that, Jason. Don't think I didn't catch that.
Well, it just made your filler material comments sound even better.
Yeah,
Just sounds like all my relationships.
the whole last episode is basically pointless. If you stopped watching after episode 8 or whatever, you'd be fine. But
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but again,
I'll check it out anyway. But I was hoping for the grand plan that they had come out with when they were shopping the Dark Tower to all the different studios, and even Ron Howard was attached to it. They were going to do a miniseries for the whole Dark Tower series.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And establish this King universe finally, because in his books, and I hope this isn't a spoiler for everybody,
They all connect through the Dark
they
Tower.
all connect through the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Did they do any connecting with that show at all? Was there anything in there that you caught that was like...
No, and another
that's-
thing, like, it takes place today, and I think they really missed out on a golden opportunity to show like what would happen, like in a more digital age where everything's online. They basically explained it in like one quick line, like, oh, it was all over the internet before it got shut down. But they could have done so much more. Like the military is like barely even in it. Like remember they were one of the big villains in the first episode of the beginning of the original one,
Right.
Like them trying to cover it up and all that, and they're basically not even in it.
Wow.
It doesn't even hardly show like the fall of the world or anything like that. It just rushes through that to get to.
I need to read that again. God, it's such a good book.
Or just watch the '94 miniseries again. It's so
Yeah.
good. I love that.
Favorite Stephen King movie? Go.
The Stand,
Movie.
original 1994.
Movie.
It's a movie. It's a long movie. It's a 6-hour movie.
I can't choose. I can't choose. I have to say, I liked
Shawshank
the
Redemption's really good.
That's a good one. That's a really good
The
one.
Green Mile's good.
I liked what they did with, was it The Mist?
The Mist.
Is that what it was
I
called?
thought that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I love the twist ending that Stephen King liked.
Extreme-
It was better than his
Yeah,
ending.
that was
he even
depressing, but
yeah, it
good.
was so good. I like that one, but
What's
it's not
your
my favorite. What
what's
about
your
you?
Christine.
That's
Christine's a good one. Yeah.
It's stupid and cheesy nowadays.
It really is.
But
But,
it scared me when I was little.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. So
well, I wanted to be cool, like the kid that got the car. Like he was a nerd, and then he was cool, and I was always just the nerd. So I never got to be
You just
cool.
need a possessed
I need a
car.
possessed car.
I like that 80s trope though, where like all the geeky people suddenly when they become cool, they just take their
They
glasses
don't need
off.
them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they need a scene in between where it shows them getting contact lenses or,
or
something.
LASIK.
Or just like
LASIK
tripping on shit.
wasn't
Like,
the
he
thing,
can't
but-
see.
It's like, so all this time he didn't need his glasses, but he wore these big, ugly 80s glasses anyways?
No, he's just kneeling in front of the car's headlights, and it's giving him LASIK with its beams.
Or should just show
it's
him
a nice car.
Should just show him squinting the whole episode, bumping into stuff. I don't need my glasses anymore. I'm cool,
Yeah.
Whoops.
But anyway.
Maybe the car healed him.
Oh, I think it did. Because it bonded with his soul.
I guess.
Yeah.
I just know that I didn't read the book, but I know that whenever that song comes on, sorry, John, it always reminds me of Christine. That I can't sing it, but you know what I'm talking about. The one they had in the movie on the car radio whenever it was alive. It was something from like the 50s. It was like
I'm trying to remember what
doo-wop band kind of, you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that was nerding out for a long time.
But we made it funny. It was funny nerding out.
Let's do listener mail.
Yeah, let's take a
Take a break
quick
first?
break for this very special episode. It has been almost 23 minutes.
Okay.
So
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with another special episode of Dysfunctional Adults. Welcome back to Dysfunctional Adults, and we are ready with listener mail. If I turn away from this microphone, it just loses me.
Yep, completely.
Oh, my goodness. So let's see. And if you'd like to contact us and send us your listener mail, you can do it by messaging us on Facebook.
Please email us.
All right.
I know.
Dysfunctional Adults would love to get some mail. Just if it's, hey, Klaus, whoever's in Germany, we really do want to hear from you.
I mean, we don't want to get desperate enough to write our own listener mail. I mean, that would just be desperate.
That'd be pathetic.
Really
man.
lame.
Really lame.
Good thing we
Wow.
have these ones
Glad
for
that-
actual listeners.
Yeah.
Zach, do you want to read?
I would
Start
love
out?
to.
Go ahead and read that one.
All right. Dear Dysfunctional Adults, I'm a longtime listener, and I was hoping you could do me a solid and use your vast platform with, I assume, millions of faithful listeners to give a shout-out to my wife's good friend, Javier. While he started out merely as our tall, handsome, and unbelievably chiseled pool boy, he's become so much more to our family. The way he looks at my wife, you can just tell that he really cares about her well-being. He's always willing to look after her when she's sick or bored, especially when I'm stuck late at work. He's so supportive of her professed interest in the hotel business, as he's taken her on overnight tours of various hotels around the city so she can get ideas for when she's ready to open hers. And he's ambitious, too. He says he's going to school to become a gynecologist, and I know he's telling the truth because I've walked in on him practicing giving mammograms on my wife. In fact, we're so grateful for his friendship that my wife insisted that we name our inexplicably tan newborn son Javier Jr. just to show our appreciation. As I'm writing this, Javier is on a cruise with my wife and son. Being the thoughtful guy that he is, he knew that my anxiety would kick in when I'm out in the open ocean. So he said they'd do me a favor and test out the ship, making sure it was seaworthy before coming back to get me. What a great guy, right? They've been gone for 3 months now, and while I do miss my wife and son, I sleep easy knowing they're in good hands. And I'm sure they'll come back to get me any day now. There's a smiley face. Thanks for the shout out, Todd.
Well, Todd.
Todd.
Well, Javier.
Who wants to tell Todd?
Tell Todd what?
I'm sure they're coming back for you,
Yeah,
Todd.
Todd. Just keep waiting.
Yeah, just keep
Javier
waiting,
sounds
bud.
like a great guy.
Yeah, Javier's awesome. I wish I had a Javier and a wife and a son.
Oh. Well, you do have a son.
Yeah, but he's not tan, and his name's not Javier Jr. I'll take what I can get, I guess.
Oh, my
That was
goodness.
beautiful.
Keep waiting, Todd. They're on their way. They wouldn't leave without you.
Yeah, and shout out, Javier, like Todd asked. Good job, man.
Javier, you are just a good guy. So, overnight tours of the hotels. Oh, my goodness. All right, I got one. John, do you want to read this one? It's
Yeah.
second one right there.
This one here. Dear Dysfunctional Adults, my client has repeatedly requested you stop going through her garbage and sleeping in her window wells. This behavior is not flattering and has caused my client significant distress. Continue to engage in this harassment and you will be served with a restraining order and we will take legal action. Miles Atkinson, attorney at law.
Huh, maybe we shouldn't have read that one on air.
Wow.
Who's didn't mention the woman's name, but who's been which one of us is doing this?
Why are you asking us?
Well, it's got to be
That's
one
not
of-
specific enough. That could apply to any one of
Yeah,
us.
like, I like to know who I'm going to be sued by, or I don't know who this could be.
Well, Miles Atkinson, Esquire. We'll stop. I guess.
As soon as we know who it is.
Yeah, so you should just send her a picture. and her address so we know which person this is.
Yeah, that should work.
Because
Yeah.
it could be really anybody.
Or a phone number. We can call her on air.
Yeah, that would be great, and just talk this out because it's clearly a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So, but all right.
Sleeping in the window wells again, Jason.
Oh, and this is one that I wanted to read, and it's a special one. So, I was kind of surprised to get this. It says, Jason, this is your long-lost father. I know you think I abandoned you, but I've spent the last 40 years in a Vietnam POW camp. I've escaped, and I am currently emailing you from an internet cafe in Saigon. I will do all in my power to make it back to the States, but if I don't, I want you to know that I'm so proud of you, and I'm sorry and missed out on your life. Love, your dad.
Aww.
Can you be sure this is him?
I don't know. I definitely didn't write this, though, in a moment of despair.
No.
You're like crying.
So, yeah. Hey, Pops. How's it going? I'm expecting 40 years of Christmas presents and birthday presents.
Absolutely.
When you get back from the States.
Yeah.
And
hey, send him all of our episodes. He should be proud of that, too. You can listen.
Oh, absolutely.
If I don't see Saigon in our little listener analytics, I'll know he's not listening.
How did he end up in a Vietnam POW camp? Like,
Well, seeing as Vietnam War ended before you were born.
well, yeah, that's kind of weird. But,
Huh.
you know.
Yeah, let's not do the math on
I guess
this.
he went a long way to get some cigarettes. So.
He's coming though, just like Todd's wife and kid. He's coming back.
Yeah.
He'll have those cigarettes.
Javier will rescue him.
I certainly didn't write that as a fantasy. I certainly didn't.
You know, if I ever did go to Vietnam though, I would pick a fight with someone just so I could say I fought in Nam.
I like this idea. We can just do it together because then we'll know we won't really hurt each other too much.
Yeah.
We'll just
Or
mess
maybe-
around, but it'll be.
We fought in Nam.
Maybe you will.
We fought in Nam together. Oh, I love this idea. How do you guys know each other? We fought in Nam
We
together.
fought in Nam together on the street.
Drunk.
Oh, that's crazy. So yeah, that's listener mail. If you'd like to reach out to the Dysfunctional Adults, like I said, contact us through our Facebook page.
Yeah, dysfunctional adults. It's just that easy.
Yep, it's just that
You
easy.
can just click a button and type out whatever you want, and we'll probably read it.
And Dad, if you're out there, please come home.
This has been a very special episode so far.
Yeah, it's my dream that my dad would come home. I understand you have dreams too, Zach.
I do have dreams.
Like what I did there.
I
Nice
love what you did there.
segue.
That segue was so effing forced. I've learned to say effing because I don't like having to get the beep when I'm doing the editing. I'm like,
It's
oh,
Zach, your
am I gonna
language
put a
has really
beep in?
been cleaned up. Why is that? Oh, I edit.
Yeah. I do
edit.
the editing. Yeah, so I had a dream about JT the other night.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all? But have you had this one? He was chasing me in a warehouse, and it was like a roofing contractor's warehouse, like a roofing company's warehouse. And he's chasing me through it. So I donned some rollerblades and started racing around him, throwing raw chicken meat at him.
That's not a dream. That's a memory.
That makes so much more sense because my hands did smell like chicken, raw chicken.
That's why he
yeah,
moved to
that's-
Washington.
I'm feeling guilt, aren't
I'm
I?
tired of you throwing raw chicken at me, Zach.
Or getting me thrown in jail. By
And who still wears rollerblades?
Yeah, it's like roller skates again, isn't it?
Is
I
it?
think it is.
That's weird.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the blades are so much easier to control.
Oh, roller skates are death.
Yeah, I like the inline skate. I shouldn't say rollerblade. That's copyrighted
The
material
name
right
brand.
there.
Is
The
it
name
really?
brand.
inline
Yeah, rollerblade.
skates.
Yep.
Inline skates.
Don't sue us, rollerblade. If you're still around.
There's like one guy in an office somewhere. And
He's pissed. He's like, I'm calling that Martin guy, attorney at law.
yeah, Miles Atkinson.
Miles
Atkinson.
Atkinson.
He's like, too bad the phone's been turned off because I haven't paid the bills because I don't sell rollerblades anymore.
That is an epic dream, though.
Yeah, I don't. There's no other story to it. That's all there is to it. That's.
I was talking to my therapist and we got on the subject of dream interpretation, and she was really like interested in hearing about some of my dreams. And then she doesn't want to talk to me anymore after I told her about them.
How many therapists you've been through now?
No, but she really was like, and she told me some example of somebody was having a dream, but it's funny how some of our issues can manifest that way.
Mhm.
You know, one of mine, I heard Jason's Deep Dark Secrets. That's a new segment. I've had recurring dreams where there's like been black widow spiders in them. And I've come to realize after a lot of thought, I think it's just a manifestation of like anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, just like it won't even be the central theme of the dream. There'll just be like, oh, in that corner over there's a black widow spider. Make sure you stay away from it. And it's always like this underlying background thing. And now we're gonna get people like analyzing me, but it's just kind of weird. I told her that, and she looked it up, and what she read like had nothing to do with anything with me, you know. So
yeah, I'm judging you, not analyzing you.
she's like, yeah, this is weird. It means that you are insecure because your father left you when you were 2. I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's got nothing to do with me.
Like, and he's coming back.
He's coming back anyway.
He said he was going to get. He said he was going to get milk.
Don't talk about my dad, Lori.
Like, and I haven't felt the need to buy milk ever since because I know he's bringing it.
He's bringing 40 years worth of milk.
Your wife's like, Jason, your cereal's dry. Like, my dad's bringing the milk any time now, any minute now. He'll show up with a gallon of milk.
You know it's going to end sadly, too, because it's going to turn out you're lactose intolerant. You're going to pour that milk onto that cereal, eat it, and then gurgle, gurgle, gurgle.
Yeah, because I never had milk.
Because you're 40-something.
And I'm 42. So, but yeah, anyway, dreams are bizarre.
I have been dreaming about my ex-girlfriend nonstop.
Which one?
Liz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she'll never listen to this. So, yeah, like
I just say that because you've had like tons
every
of
single night.
And I've
yeah.
You are quite the charmer.
Yeah, not anymore. That charm, they don't fall for that shit anymore unless they're like in their early 20s.
They don't fall for the chloroform.
That makes everybody fall, and I'm not talking about it on air. But yeah,
case pending.
Every day or every night for the weeks now. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
See,
I should text her, make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
How often do you guys remember your dreams?
Oh, once
like
or
all
twice
the time?
a week.
I hardly ever
like
do.
When you wake up, or like you remember when you
I'll
wake
remember
up
a
and then
dream
forget it
like
later?
once a year, a couple times a year.
Oh.
I almost never remember my dreams. I
I'm
can
almost
usually
every
remember pieces of them right when I wake up, but they're gone 5 minutes later.
Interesting.
So I'm sure a psychiatrist would have something to say about that too. But
You're just a deep sleeper.
I hardly remember any of them.
Yeah.
But one of them that I do remember that my wife likes to bring up, like when she's jokingly mad at me, she's like, why don't you just go get a hooker pregnant again? It's based on a dream I had where some years back, my buddy from work, Clay, was going through a particularly painful divorce. So in my dream, I thought, you know what he needs? Let's go pick up some hookers.
A prostitute.
So I went and picked up some
sense.
prostitutes with my buddy Clay, and the one that was with me ended up getting pregnant. and in my dream, my wife I was trying to explain it to my wife, like, I did it for Clay, honey. And she was so unreasonable in my dream and didn't accept that as a valid answer. But hey,
That's awesome.
That's the type of guy I am. If either of you was ever having a tough time, I would get a hooker pregnant for you too, because I am a good friend.
You know, that's the
tearing up.
sweetest thing you've ever said to me.
And my
for you to
wife
do it
didn't buy
so
it.
vulnerable.
I'm like, I was just being a good friend to Clay. He needed me. She didn't think that was a good enough excuse.
Yeah.
In my
Maybe-
dreams, she's so unreasonable. Good
maybe
thing she's
she-
more reasonable in real life.
Maybe she'll get it because it's one of us, and you know, maybe she doesn't feel like Clay is a good enough friend to you, and that's why it wasn't a reasonable excuse.
Maybe, yeah. She
Maybe
underst-
we're better friends.
There has to be a level of friendship. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Sorry, Clay.
Have you guys ever
Leave my John alone.
had dreams like that felt so real that when you woke up for a while you didn't realize it was a dream? You really thought that had happened?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've woken up with a shovel and all covered in dirt, you know,
And like
I had
blood? It's
I had this dream that I murdered and buried some hobos.
But hey, look at
You
this
had
cool
blood all
necklace I
over.
got.
You
Necklace
looked
of
all over.
teeth.
It's like, I don't have a cut. Why am I covered in blood?
No, but my wife Megan did a few months ago. She woke up and she was angry at me for kissing another girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm mad at you. And I'm like, okay, why?
Are you done or are you?
Am I done?
Sorry, I just realized I was interrupting you, and I said,
No,
Okay,
you're asking the
continue.
questions I always want to ask. Like, are you?
It's like, are you done yet, Jason? I want to talk.
No, she was joking about it because she recognized it was a dream. But she's like, I woke up and I was really mad at you. And I'm like, I didn't do anything.
My ex-wife suspected I was gay for a while because she had a dream where I was.
Oh, my gosh.
She's like, are you sure you're not? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, honey.
It's not
You
your
know,
fault
when
that
you-
you're metrosexual.
When you got divorced, you should have told her you were gay.
Oh, by the way, you were right. I am
And then you
I'm
gay.
sashay out of
fabulous.
the lawyer's office with a snap. No, that blows me away because I've known you forever, and that's never even entered into my mind. You know,
Mine neither, except for my dreams, where he's gay.
Because in your dreams you are too.
To me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gay together.
I had one though where like I had woken up and in my dream I had cheated on my wife. And it felt so real that like I felt like scum when I woke up. Like, oh man, I was thinking like I'm such a horrible person. I can't believe I do that. And it wasn't until like 10 minutes later where the details start. You start waking up a bit, and details start coming back to you. It's like, wait a minute. I've never even met that actress. It's like Jennifer Lawrence or Betty White or whoever it was.
Oh, now that
Whoever
your
all
wife
these
would
young
have to
guys
be-
are fantasizing over all
I want a
these
piece of
days.
that wrinkled ass.
Yep.
And so that it dawns on you, it's like I've never even met that actress. I'm pretty sure I never hooked up with her on top of the Eiffel Tower during World War II. It's like that may have just been a dream after all.
It's quite
And then you start
possible.
feeling better about yourself. But
I've
for like
had-
5 or 10 minutes, it
Yeah.
feels so real that you're like ashamed of yourself, and then the details start sinking in. It's
I've
like,
had that before where I woke up and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And
I feel like there's more to dreams. Anyway, keep going.
but I've never hooked up. But just because I never have hooked up with Betty White doesn't mean I wouldn't.
I think that's okay. That's your one cheat, right?
Yeah, you have your list of 5 where it's okay to cheat.
Laura has like,
Or it's got like
Channing Tatum, and you've got Betty White.
Betty White.
And
Hey, I
all
saw
the Golden Girls. Hell,
well, I saw a cover of Maxim from 1950 that they were on.
Maxim wasn't around in 1950.
You know that, don't you? I was gonna say, I assume the list of the hottest girls are the same now as it was back then, right?
Yeah,
Nothing's changed in 71 years.
You guys are doing it wrong if you only have like 5 or 10 or whatever. I play the odds. I've got like 1 million because there's a chance I might meet one of them. I just keep a list handy, and if they look important,
But
I'm
it can only be celebrities,
double
right?
check them to my list.
I look at my wife's list. That's like all my friends and like all my coworkers and stuff.
Well, yeah, they have to be celebrities. That's the rule. Right?
Yeah, it's like, honey, you are never meeting Zach. Then
Yeah.
That's awful.
you're number 9, Zach.
Out of 10? You're like out of 5. You're number 9.
Channing Tatum's number 1. So. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I've definitely had that experience where I've woken up feeling guilty. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, well, cool. I keep fading out here. I'm sorry. There we go. I'm gonna lick the mic. That's how I got my first date, with Megan. I was just standing over her cubicle going,
Heavy breathing.
actually the funny
If
thing
I
is,
go out with you, will you stop doing that?
well, I was married back then to someone else. But what was funny is one of the first things Megan ever said to me was, I was standing, we'd moved to a new building, a new office, and they brought 2 companies together. And so I got a cubicle for the first time in my life. And I'm like putting stuff places, and she was the cubicle over from me. And first thing she ever said to me, "Are you creeping on me?" And now look where we're at.
And yes, you were.
You answered that question when you got married. Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. But she was funny, and yeah.
So, show and tell.
Welcome to Show and Tell.
A very special show and tell.
Yeah, this one's special. It's our 25th anniversary.
Of
Okay, so anyway.
Deer in the Headlights. All right, this is on Tumblr, attackfish.tumblr.com.
Wait,
So
does anyone actually use Tumblr anymore?
Yeah, they do for some things.
Huh.
Yeah, this one's called Attackfish. All right, this is a post that they put in there. Now, I've seen this before. It's just I don't know what you call it when it's a bunch of comments, but it's in picture form, and it's still kind of a meme. But anyhow, these are a bunch of comments. Hey everyone, let's talk about how syphilis didn't appear in Europe till after Christopher Columbus came back from America, but didn't exist in people from the Americas either until then. Let's talk about how the only animals syphilis was found in before then were llamas. No, I'm not kidding. We need to talk about this.
Well, we had the episode about the llama boy. I didn't see his father, but
Ooh.
how do you think that happens?
I think Christopher Columbus and his friends are just really gross. Hashtag, are you implying what I think you are? This next person says, Christopher Columbus's only achievements in life were stumbling idiotically onto a country he wasn't looking for by accident, attempted genocide, and giving the human race a new STD by fucking llamas, and yet somehow he gets a public holiday. So yeah, be sure to wish your friends and family a happy Llama Effer Day.
Okay, hold on.
Each and every year as we celebrate the man who gave the world the gift of syphilis.
Nice.
Just because it's not a good thing doesn't mean it's not a momentous and epic thing.
Born of depravity and ill mental wellness.
It's still epic.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have that on your resume? Attempted genocide, discovered the new world, llama sex. Well, I have the last one on mine. That's probably why I couldn't get a job for a long
Spreading
time.
syphilis to the entire Western world and Europe, apparently.
Oh, well, I guess none of that's true. That was fun, though.
Oh, that was
This person
debunked?
goes on to debunk it.
Aw.
Oh.
So,
Well, we know the attempted genocide thing is true, right?
I choose to believe every word of that is true.
yeah, I like it too much to let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't gonna happen. I'm not gonna admit that this is true.
I just had this picture of Christopher Columbus, like in a conquistador helmet, naked, riding on a llama, you know, while he's trying to like hunt down the Mayans.
He was an awful person. I choose to believe it's true as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was what I had for show and tell. I thought it was gonna continue to get worse. I should have read that last one where they debunked it first. I didn't think to do that.
No, that's awesome. I was actually shopping for, they're not llamas, but alpaca stuffed animals for my daughter for Christmas because she likes alpacas. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
when next time I go back to my cart, I'm gonna see things a little different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give those alpacas a side eye.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if I'm really lonely, we'll see.
At least the stuffed animal, you know.
Well, yeah, we'll start with that.
All right, I got something, and
All right.
we can let John wrap it up because he's good at bringing it home.
Yeah.
This is from Bored Panda, which kind of describes me a lot of the time. It's doctors sharing their stupidest and funniest patient stories.
Nice.
So the first one's called Pants on Fire. It says, guy comes into the emergency room department via ambulance with burns on his lower extremities. His shoulders are charred and the buttons of his pants are definitely burned away but his skin isn't too bad. He had been trying to use a propane-powered weed burner in his yard, think flamethrower, and things got a little out of control. I smelled alcohol in his breath, so I asked the guy if he had been drinking, and he looked me directly in the eye and said, no. I got drunk just standing next to him. It was a once-in-a-lifetime setup, and I couldn't help myself. As straight-faced and professionally as possible, I said, sir, liar, liar, pants on fire. The paramedics all turned at once and ran out of the room. They were laughing so hard. The patient just stared at me. He was so drunk, it went totally over his head.
Alcohol and fire and heavy equipment go
Hand in hand. Yep.
Will you read the rest of yours in Christopher Walken's voice?
I wish I can.
Oh, okay.
Coming out of anesthetic. Surgeon here was doing varicose vein surgery on a very posh middle-aged lady, very cut class accent. There was an anesthetic that we used that sometimes induced some hallucinations, either going under or coming out of the anesthesia, and heard some funny things. Anyway, this lady was in recovery, just coming out of the anesthetic. The team were around waiting for her to wake up and gag a little on the tube in her throat for breathing. In parentheses, I don't know why we had So we knew it was time to remove it. She gagged, we removed the tube. She smacked her lips and said loudly in her incredible accent, "That's the best bit of I've had in years.
Oh my goodness.
The whole recovery room
Wow.
just fell about laughing. Luckily, she didn't remember it.
Wow.
We'll come back to that one when you're done.
Yeah, I was
We
going
can get some good anesthesia
anesthesia.
anesthesia stories.
All right. Yeah, I was just thinking of that, actually. Lord Molar. When I came out from having my wisdom teeth pulled, I apparently shot up, looked at the doctor, and said, "Charlatan, I demand you return my teeth. They are mine, and I will choose where they are to be spent." My dad said he couldn't stop laughing because I wouldn't leave without them. When I woke up at home, I asked my dad why my teeth were in a plastic bag on the table. He told me everything and promptly started calling me Lord Molar for the rest of the night.
Lord Molar.
That's awesome.
Charlatan! Let's see. This one's called YouTube Tutorial. When I went to the ER to have a painful ingrown toenail removed, I was sobbing, gagging, petrified, the works. But my doctor knew how to calm me down. "Don't worry about a thing," he assured me. "I just looked up how to perform this operation on YouTube."
Dr. Nick.
Dr. Nick. This one's called I Didn't Need It. "Here," says the nurse, handing the patient a urine specimen container. "The bathroom's over there." A few minutes later, the patient comes out of the bathroom. "Thanks," he says, returning the empty container. "But there was a toilet in there, so I didn't need this after all." I asked this is called Nice Young Lady. I asked a female patient with dementia what year it is. She said, "Oh my, no, that's far too personal to discuss in polite company. A nice young lady like you shouldn't be concerned with such things." I didn't bother pointing out that I'm not a lady. I figured if she didn't notice the beard, then she wasn't going to understand the explanation either.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one's called Creating a Monster. I took an 11-year-old boy in the ER a little while back. I gave him ketamine for a fracture reduction, or in other words, setting and splinting a broken bone. As he was coming around, he started with typical stream of consciousness babbling, and then he seemed to snap awake to say, "I'm fucking lit. I'm going to do so many drugs when I get older." To the amusement of the parents. They thought it was funny and cute, but I'm pretty sure I created a monster.
Nice.
I can tell you from personal experience that ketamine does make you feel pretty amazing.
Pretty lit.
Pretty lit.
All right. This one's called Body Parts. I am an ER doctor. I once had a 20-year-old and his girlfriend come in at 2 a.m. freaking out because something had tore his throat open. He seemed fine, no blood, breathing fine. I had him open his mouth, saw nothing, so didn't want him to lose confidence in me. Clearly something had happened, so I'm looking and looking. There's nothing wrong with the kid's throat. Finally, I say, "Look, it seems okay. What do you feel or see?" "I don't feel it, but it's right there." "Where?" Looking. It was his uvula. Somehow this kid had gotten to the age of 20 without ever noticing the uvula. Girlfriend was also horrified. I told them it was normal, did not believe me, so I told them I was about to blow their minds and showed him his girlfriend's uvula. Mind's blown. Another life saved in the ER.
Oh my hell.
Sorry, I kind of butchered
Wow.
that, but it was written kind of weird.
How did you get to that age without noticing that that's in there?
I don't know.
Wow.
Did you ever not have like a sore throat or something? You know?
Right.
Never looked in the mirror.
You were definitely born yesterday.
Yeah.
Just a couple more. It says this one is called That's Nice. Went about an anal problem. The doctor put his finger up to check all was okay. I made a slight noise and he asked if I was okay. And this is when I said, "That's nice," instead of "That's okay."
It's like a joke that
Yes.
the guy at my work told me the other day. Is like, so I go into this prostate exam. And the whole time the doctor's checking me, I hear him saying, "Don't get excited. Don't get excited." And I'm like, "What? I'm not." He's like, "No, I was talking to myself."
I've seen that meme. All right, last one. Pregnancy problems. I hope I'm not too late. I have a friend that works in a doctor's office in Amish country in Pennsylvania. They had an Amish couple come in saying that the wife couldn't get pregnant. They ran a couple tests and everything was coming up normal, so then they gave him a cup and asked him for a semen sample. He came back with it full of piss. He had been pissing in his wife.
No.
Thinking that is how you impregnate someone.
Wow.
No. No.
I'm surprised she didn't have like some kind of infection. That's gross.
Oh.
But apparently the sex education program in Amish country is not very good.
It doesn't sound like it is.
No stars.
Holy yes. No stars. Oh, no.
Anyway, those are some funny doctor stories, all by doctors for everyone. So
my mind is blown.
yeah, that's gross.
Do you have any good anesthesia stories?
I don't want to talk about it. Only if you do.
Well, mine is brief, but my wife thought it was hilarious. But I had a broken nose, and I got it fixed a couple years ago. And my wife said, as I was like kind of coming out of the anesthesia, I'd like look at her and like smile and point at her and do these like hip thrusting things. The nurse is like right there, and I'm pointing at my wife like air humping basically. And she had fun with that. But, my brother had a better one because he got his broken nose fixed as well. And I guess he got aggressive and violent when he was under the anesthesia, and they had to like restrain him with these large male orderlies. And when he was coming to, he asked the doctor how many orderlies he had to kill. That's a good one. I like that one.
I'll tell mine now. I on an aforementioned episode, I'd broken my shoulder in a haunted house. Anyway, when they went to put the shoulder back into its socket, it required some happy juice. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. I do remember when they started giving it to me, but then after that, it's all a blank. But apparently, according to my now ex-wife, she said that I started bragging about being a published author, being sure to make the distinction between being self-published and actually published by a publisher, which is what I was doing, and bragging about it. And then I also talked about my favorite author, Brandon Sanderson.
This is getting creepy.
And then the best part...
Because this is just how you are when you're awake, too.
I guess. The best part was, though, I confessed to the doctors and the nurses in the room that I couldn't stop thinking about naked ladies. And they all kind of froze and looked at my ex-wife, and she just started laughing. And then decided to Facebook it.
Oh, good.
So that was awesome.
Yeah,
but,
I remember getting a text from her saying that you had said that.
Yeah, so apparently...
I'm sure everyone else did too, but that was funny.
Apparently both John and I get kind of randy when we're under the anesthetic. So I assure you, I don't have the problem with not thinking about naked ladies. I'm, especially now that I'm 42,
Right.
I think probably more about like Doritos and tacos and pizza,
Exactly.
But that's what I lust
a
after
different kind
now.
of desire.
Right, right. So anyway, that's those are our funny stories of anesthesia.
I remember going to get my second surgery, and it was from I had like this 5-inch clot from my armpit in my arm right here to going to my heart, and
that's bad.
And then I had a rib resection. They took a rib out at the top to make room for my veins because there wasn't blood flow. But anyway, or for my arteries or whatever. Anyhow, I had to go in a second time, and I go in, and it's the same people, the same anesthesiologist, the same orderlies, the same whatever, all the same people. And I remember wheeling in there, and I'm totally fine at this point. I'm like, oh, hey, did you miss me? And the guy that was talking to me, he was like, yeah, but he seemed kind of uncomfortable. And I don't know what I said to him, but he was like, you just last time kept talking about monkeys and bicycles. And he seemed like irritated with me, like he wasn't looking forward to me going under again.
Monkeys on bicycles?
Just monkeys and bicycles. And I think it's because of my ginger hair. It's harder to put us under. It's harder to keep us under. And I wonder if I've been told multiple times with all of my surgeries that like I wake up. So,
that's scary.
Monkeys and bicycles.
They probably got a lot of cool things to hear, but I don't know what they were. But he just said, you kept talking about monkeys and bicycles, and then went on the rest of the work trying to get me set up. But I remember that. But I also remember one time, it's not exactly anesthesia. I was on morphine because I'd had an appendectomy, and I was laying in my bed, and I was recovering. And I don't know about you guys, but morphine gives me a raging hard on. Like, I mean, I'm talking like epic proportions at this point. And I'm laying in.
It's the new Viagra.
I guess. And I don't know what it was, but I was just laying in my in my bed, and the nurse comes in to check my wound and everything, and she puts her hand right down on my boner. Not on purpose. She's just trying to, like, move my bandages and stuff, but puts her hand right down on it. But like a complete professional just glosses over it, keeps moving, moves her hand, does everything else. But I saw the reaction. It was kind of uncomfortable for both of us. But yeah,
it was a pretend that didn't happen. Don't say anything about it. Never bring it up again.
Really professional about it, and I just kind of like looked off. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I should like giggled like the Pillsbury Doughboy when you poke his stomach.
Let me tell you about some monkeys and some bicycles.
Yeah, a good beginning to any good porn. Yeah. Anyway,
you're up, John.
Right on. Alrighty.
Monkeys and bicycles.
Yeah, we just got some random history here again.
Yay, I love history.
Yeah, some of these I got, again, from the not terribly good book of Heroic Failures by Stephen Pyle. I had to say the title again because I think I butchered it last time I said it, but anyway. This is something I think we've all thought about doing, but in June of 1978, the city of Coacaloco, Mexico, decided they were tired of their mayor. So they decided to remove him from office in the only reasonable way they could by getting 4,000 angry voters to storm the town hall. They seized the mayor and forced him to eat 12 pounds of bananas before he finally gave up and signed his resignation letter.
What year was this?
1978.
Nice.
12 pounds of bananas. When would you? I would have given up well before 12 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can't.
You hear that, Mayor Mendenhall? We're coming.
On our way. Get the bananas.
Get the bananas.
Few urban guerrillas have inspired less fear or wreaked less havoc than the Gotti gang, who are some of the outstanding terrorists of their generation. A Milan, Italy-based cell of Italy's Red Brigade, they only ever had one bomb and were so scared of it that a fellow terrorist told them to give up. You're a danger to everyone.
That's epic.
Most of their robbery plans had to be shelved because none of them could drive a car. They had to travel everywhere by bus, and one bank raid was carried out on a motor scooter. When they did stage a holdup to raise funds for their subversive activities, they only got away with 18,000 lira. I don't know how much that is, but
that ain't an American dollar, that's for sure.
It's Gil.
Yeah, it's Gil from Midgar.
All of their pistols were too rusty to fire, and while trying to replace them, they were swindled out of 1,000 lira in an arms deal that went wrong. The group's strategy meetings often had to be postponed because their leader, Enrico Gotti, was nearly always suffering from a heavy cold. Their finest hour came when Signor Gotti gave himself up and urged the other 27 to throw in the towel.
The other 27.
He told a packed courtroom, "It's all over. 10 years of struggle have brought us nothing but tears. Lots of our young members just want to go home and live in peace."
What the hell?
He went out with a whimper.
He didn't understand the assignment.
They are the lamest terrorist cell I've ever heard of.
Here's another one from Scotland. In August 1975, 3 men were on their way in to rob the Royal Bank of Scotland at Rothesay when they got stuck in the revolving doors. They had to be helped free by the staff, and after thanking everyone, sheepishly left the building. A few minutes later, they returned and announced their intention of robbing the bank. But at this point, none of the staff believed them. When at first they demanded 5,000 lira, the head cashier laughed at them, convinced that it was a practical joke. Considerably disheartened by this, the gang leader reduced his demand first to 500 lira, then to 50 lira, and ultimately to 50 pence, which I think is a matter of cents. By this stage, the cashier could barely control herself for laughter. Then one of the robbers jumped over the counter and fell awkwardly on the ground, clutching his ankle. The other 2 made their getaway, but once again got trapped in the revolving doors.
Oh my hell. This sounds like us trying to rob a bank.
Yeah.
It really does.
I was just thinking that. Like, I would be bad at being bad.
I could just hear you already just going, okay, fine. $50. $50.
$50, please.
It's like, hey, 28 cents? I want to say I had a successful robbery. I got to get something.
Ow,
John's
my ankle.
too fit to hurt his ankle. It'd be me that hurts the ankle.
I get stuck in the turn.
The revolving doors. We shall never know the identity of a man who attempted a cross-country airplane hijack in 1976. On the flight across America, he rose from his seat and took the stewardess hostage, telling her, "Take me to Detroit." She calmly said, "Sir, this plane is already going to Detroit." In which case he just said, "Oh, okay," and sat back down.
Oh, wow.
That shows the differences between post 9/11 and pre 9/11.
Right.
You'd
No
expect the
kidding.
story to end with, "And Detroit PD was waiting for him when they arrived." But they don't know who this guy is because they just let it go. That shows how much things have
It
changed.
has,
They're like,
yeah.
you don't get a drink from the drink card.
Yeah, that was his punishment.
The attempted hijacking just got laughed off because no harm, no foul. I guess.
I say in the air, the captain is the judge, jury, and executioner. They should
Open the doors and just push
shove
him
him
out.
out. It's my law up here.
There's Detroit down there, bitch.
They even give him a fake parachute just to give him hope. Like, fine,
It's
here's
just
a parachute.
backpack.
They're all like giggling.
We're gonna have to ask you to get off the plane. Here's your parachute. It says Gucci on it.
He thinks it's a parachute.
And this one's the opposite. This shows how much things have not changed at all in 125 years. In 1895, there were only 2 cars in the entire state of Ohio, and yet the driver still somehow found a way to crash into each other.
Yep.
People drive just like that today.
Especially in Utah.
Provo drivers, if I ever meet you in a dark alley, it's you and me, baby. We are fighting.
This is the last one. This is one that you actually sent us a month or so back, Zach. But anyway, we must never forget that the premiere of Pinocchio in 1940 started with 11 midgets dressed up like the little puppet on top of the Radio City Music Hall in New York, happily waving at the children who walked by. But it ended with 11 drunk, naked dwarves screaming profanities at people underneath them. Fresh off the success of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves and the success and the popularity of the Munchkins from The Wizard of Oz, little people were quite popular. And since exploitation apparently wasn't the thing back then, they hired 11 midgets to, dress up like Pinocchio and wave at the children. But they were there all day. They were given very little food, but a lot of wine. So they got really drunk, and it was the middle of the summer, so they got very hot.
Very naked.
So they took off all their clothes because it was so hot. After being up there for hours playing cards, gambling, they started screaming obscenities at the crowd below.
Awesome.
It says the most embarrassed people were the police, who had to climb up ladders and chase them around. They eventually captured them in pillowcases
Oh, my hell.
to take them back down the ladder. So anytime you watch Pinocchio, never forget about that premiere in 1940. Angry, profane, naked little people in pillowcases.
I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but to this day, little people are afraid of pillowcases. It's an affront to carry a pillowcase. See, Halloween's really awful for them.
But only when they're naked and drunk, right?
Right.
That's so awful.
That's what I've got for this week.
Oh, that was good.
That is good.
That is a good way to end.
Yes. Well, thanks everybody for listening. If you made it this far, then you must also be drunk and possibly naked
Yep.
in a pillowcase.
We know we are.
We thank you so much for being part of this very special episode, too.
Thank you very much. And tune in next time for another very special episode of Dysfunctional Adults. Thanks, everybody.
All right,
Have
good
a
night.
good night.